here's a piggybacking on the idea of stock, and we're going to talk about a very related term called slack. And slack is used to describe your stock. So I'll go back to this example with a 5-second recap. Here's a machine that takes screws, washers, and bolts and turns it into a screw, washer, and bolt assembly. And I talked about having 50 washers over here and 50 bolts and 0 screws. These pools of resources, those are your stocks. And the slack is whether it's large or small. So in this case, you have 0 screws. I want to go in here and just say, let's make it 10 versus 50 and 50. So the stock of screws is low. We're going to call that lean. It's a low slack. And then this pool is larger, 50 and 50. Those are both pretty big. You got a lot of these things on hand. That's a large slack. So it basically describes how much inventory you're working with in your systems, how much the inflows are pulling up. And what's important about slack is knowing that there are trade-offs. If you have large slack and you have a lot of resources in your system, you're really unlikely to run out of them, and that's a good thing. But you're going to be spending a lot of money to maintain that inventory. You have to actually buy 50 washers and bolts. And if they're really expensive, then you have money here that you've invested, and that's going to be money you can't spend elsewhere. So there can be a lot of money in keeping large inventory. So a lot of companies like to run lean. You have just what you need, small slack, to keep things running smoothly and to meet your demand. You don't have a lot of money in your inventory, but the trade-off there is this could get depleted if there's some variability in your supply chain or whatever it is. All of a sudden, if you have 0 screws, which is possible if you only keep 10 on hand, this whole thing shuts down and now you can't produce your widget and you're in trouble. So running lean runs that risk. Slack, trade-offs between large and small stocks of material.